in this module, we will have an introduction to the RAS gene. The RAS gene pathway is very important, very crucial in discussing the cell signaling pathways whatsoever. Now, the roots of RAS, it actually originated from the history of retrovirus research. And it was the discovery of mutationally activated RAS gene, which plays an important role in the human cancer and was studied in 1982. Now, retroviruses, they are RNA viruses. There are two types of viruses. One virus is DNA, and the other is the RNA. And retrovirus genes are important because they contain genes which are called oncogenes. And oncogenes are those which enable these viruses to transform the normal cells into tumor cells. जो normal cells होते हैं उनमें ये gene introduce कर देते हैं, and those cells, they become the tumor cells. And this was an important tool to study the cancer mechanism, the gene transfer mechanisms, and like this. Now, in human cancer, 30% cases, they contain mutant version of RAS genes. जो RAS gene है, इनके 30% जो हैं वो ये होते हैं. Now, what is RAS? RAS is a small GTPase. Again, a GTPase, and is held at the inner surface of the plasma membrane by lipid group. Remember that this is held in the inner surface of the plasma membrane and by a lipid group. There is a ligand which is attached outside the cell. Then there is cell signaling, and again the RAS GTP is at the end of this cycle to get the signals. Now, RAS family, it contains numerous subfamilies of monomeric G proteins. Monomeric means single proteins. Dimeric means दो molecules. And tertiary means lot of molecules. But the G protein, they include कौन से? RAS, RAB, ARF, RAN, and RHO. So these are this is the superfamily of RAS genes which are responsible for this. Now, RAS proteins, they are present in two different forms. एक है, one is GTP bound, and the second is the GDP bound. GTP bound and GDP bound जो है ये दो टाइप की होती है. So RAS GTP binds and activates downstream signaling proteins. ये किन के साथ बाइंड हो जाती है? ये downstream signaling proteins जो हैं. Downstream का incidentally what we mean downstream? Downstream means कि when the signal is traveling from the protein to the other part, downstream, and RAS is turned off by hydrolysis of its bound GTP to GDP. ज़ाहिर है कि when it is turned on, it has to turn off. And how it will be turned off? How the cell turns it off? It does it by hydrolysis of the bound GTP. GTP के साथ जिसके साथ ये जुड़ी होती है उसको हाइड्रोलाइज कर देती है and to GDP, phosphorus बीच में से निकाल देती है. Mutation in RAS gene, there can be two, that is the gene GTP bound form, and it cannot transform to GTP bound form. Remember, GTP bound form cannot transform to GTP bound form. It's a single way. And there are proliferation and the tumor formation in this way that इसकी growth होगी, ये ज़्यादा होंगे, and then it can also make a tumor form, bound form में tumor जो है वो बनेगा. Again, look at here, that where GAP, the phosphorus inorganic, is released, ROS, when it is active at the bottom, it has attached with the phosphorus, goes up, and the GTP, GF, and GTP, they attach to it and make it active. But if the reverse cycle is true, as on the top, it is the inactive form of the racine, where it is with the hydrolysis from the GTP has occurred. Now, as a result, the mutant version of ROS remains in the on position. अब आप देखें कि अगर उसमें GTP है तो ये स्विच क्या होगा म्यूटेंट फॉर्म के? इट विल बी ऑन द ऑन पोजिशन. ये स्विच ऑन पोजिशन में रहेगा एंड इट सेंड्स ए कंटिन्यूस मैसेज डाउन स्ट्रीम. ये कंटिन्यूस लगातार मैसेज जो है अलॉन्ग द सिग्नलिंग पाथवे भेजता रहेगा, कीपिंग द सेल इन प्रोलिफरेशन मोड. यानी सेल जो है वो ग्रोथ के मोड में रहेगा, क्योंकि कंटिन्यूस से बताता रहेगा कि भाई बढ़ो बढ़ो बढ़ो. एंड व्हाट इज द प्रोलिफरेशन मोड ऑफ ए सेल? दैट इज ऑफ कोर्स ए कैंसर सेल, क्योंकि सेल में जब कंट्रोल ही नहीं होगा तो वो बढ़ता जाएगा. देखें ना, अब हमारे जिस्म में या कंट्रोल नहीं है, मेरा नाक है, इसमें कंट्रोल नहीं है सेल ग्रोथ का, तो क्या होगा? ये नाक बढ़ता जाएगा बढ़ता जाएगा. सो व्हेन द रास म्यूटेट, अगर रास जीन म्यूटेट हो गया और इसने उधर डाउन स्ट्रीम सिग्नलिंग भेजने शुरू कर दिए, तो वो कंटिन्यूसली इट विल ग्रो इन द प्रोलिफरेशन मोड.